Keep it high, keep it tight. I'm Jay Mercer Review Guy, back to bring you another video. In this one, I'm going to be doing a kind of celebration type video. Usually whenever I hit certain milestones, I will do bigger videos, maybe longer videos, to try to thank you guys for the support you show this channel. So we just did the 900 subscriber Q&A answering session, so go check that out if you haven't. It gives a bit of more insight into me, gives a bit more insight into just the channel as a whole, why I started. A lot of great questions in there, and I thank you guys for all of the questions that was sent in for that video. In this one, we're going to be celebrating 10,000 views on the channel. So Jay Mercer Review Guy has officially hit 10,000 views on YouTube. I can't thank you guys enough. That is a humongous milestone, and I had to make some sort of bigger video for this because I really, really appreciate all of the support you show this channel, and it really means a lot to me that you guys enjoy my content enough to continue to view it, to continue to like, subscribe, and comment. And as always, we'll do shout-outs. Just like and comment on this video and be subscribed. So for the 10,000 views, 10,000 subscribers. For the 10,000 view video, we're doing my top 5 favorite heavy metal labels. So these are the record labels that put out bands, that put out songs, artists, and these are my personal top 5 favorites. Now, this should not reflect on you guys. If you share my opinions, that is amazing, but this is my personal top 5, so if these do not go in order with what you would have put, or if maybe there was one that wasn't mentioned here, because I am going to be doing some honorable mentions, put in the comments below which ones you like. Maybe it's one I haven't heard of. I've heard of most of the heavy metal labels, but if you have one that you listen to and think I'd like, go ahead and send it. So before we get into this, I want to give a few honorable mentions, 4 to be exact. So they would be Rise Records, Nuclear Blast, Good Fight, and Epitaph. These are all labels that I regularly listen to, and because I'm such a music fan, whether it be rock, metal, pop, hip-hop, rap, whatever it be, I listen to so many labels that narrowing it down to 5 was extremely difficult, but I didn't want it to be too long of a video, so I wanted to narrow it down to 5. So the number 5 is going to go to the Artisan Era. So if you don't know who these guys are, I reviewed an album from this label fairly earlier in the year. It might have been in about February or March, but I reviewed Augury's album, which was called The Elusive Golden Age. And that album was actually really, really good. And this label kind of focuses on more technical bands, a lot of technical death metal, a lot of progressive technical death metal, just a lot of kind of technical type of metal bands. And I really like how all of the bands kind of, they know what type of label they're on. They're not just kind of all over the place where they have this band, that band, this band. These are all bands that have the same genre, so you can comfortably kind of look through their catalog if you are into that music, because if you listen to one of their bands, chances are that a lot of the other bands that they have on the label are going to be for your taste as well. And for me, I really enjoy the bands that they put out. I really, really love Augury. I really, really love Adversary, Omnipotent. They have a lot of great bands in their catalog, and they're growing and they're becoming bigger and bigger, and I'm excited to see. So number 4 is going to be E1 Music. So E1 Music, correct me if I'm wrong, I'm pretty sure it has the most Billboard Top 200 albums of any independent label. This is not a label that is owned by a larger company. This isn't a child. This isn't a subsidiary. This is a independent record label that really just kind of blew up, and it's big now. And just for a couple, because I occasionally will have certain labels that I will give an example of, the E1, there's a lot of bands that I like from them. I mean, there is a ton of bands. Opeth, I really like Opeth. I really like The Contortionist. They are very, very high on my top, was it 30 metal and rock bands. They also have Within the Ruins. They just have a lot of bands, and they have, even though they have a lot of different genres, like they have not just rock and metal, they also have a lot of other type of genres. They have a lot of metal, and enough metal to where I could include them on this list, especially considering that they have some of my favorite bands. And Within the Ruins and The Contortionist were on my top 30 favorite bands list. Within the Ruins, I believe, was between the 10 and 20 mark, and The Contortionist was like, what were they, 4, 5? They were really, really high up. They're one of my favorite bands. So the next Next one is going to be Sony/Columbia Records. So Columbia is owned by Sony, and Sony owns so many record labels. It's kind of hard not to have them on your list, because even if you don't directly like the bands that are under Sony's umbrella, under that direct label, they own so many labels that it's kind of like you're bound to like one of the bands that they have under their catalog. So I don't even need to go into it. Sony has probably hundreds of rock and metal bands under their catalog, and I really like obviously Bring Me the Horizon. They've been on there since Sempiternal, and they were on Epitaph before that, and I believe Sempiternal was also released on Epitaph Records, if I remember correctly, which is one of the honorable mentions that I said. But Sony and Columbia just released so many bands, and like I said, it's kind of like the one before it. It's not just rock and metal. There's a lot of other bands, but because they have so much rock and metal, it's kind of like you got to put them on this list, because it's hard to say that you don't like something from this label, just considering it's not just Sony. It's all the companies that they have bought, all of the name's slipping me, but there's a really big metal label that they bought for like 18 or 20 million. And that, I mean, it makes sense. So, number 2 is going to be Metal Blade Records. Literally, metal is in the title. This is a 100% heavy metal record label that has so many classic metal names and so many different genres. I mean, you have Cattle Decapitation, Anal Necroth, Amon-Amarth, Unearth, Behemoth. There are Rivers of Nihil. There are so many bands that are under Metal Blade Records that, like, I have a couple things to, like, display here. I have Cattle Decapitation's The Anthropocene Extinction, Amon-Amarth's Yom's Viking, Unearth's The March. I mean, this label has so many great bands under it, and if you are a metalhead, chances are you have listened to a Metal Blade Records song or band, because it's kind of impossible not to. So number 1, I don't think this is going to be a surprise for anyone that's been on this channel for a while. Number 1, Sumerian Records. I am a progressive metal fan. It's my favorite genre. I made a video about that, why it is, a while ago, but literally, when you are a record label that has a genre of progressive music that is named after your record label because you have so many progressive metal bands under your umbrella, Sumerian Records literally has something called Sumerian Core, and it's literally progressive metalcore that is on the Sumerian Records label. So, I mean, was this really a surprise? I mean, I have Asking Alexandria's albums, I have Born of Osiris's albums, I have I See Stars' albums, I have more Born of Osiris, more Asking Alexandria, I have Between the Buried and Me's album, I have Veil of Maya, I have Era, which is my favorite band, which they have 2 albums on it. I mean, it's impossible for me not to put these at number 1, and I feel like if you have watched some of my reviews for a while, you will know that this is a band that holds such a special place in my heart, and there's so many bands under Sumerian Records that I would love to get my hands on some material from, such as Periphery, Upon a Burning Body. They're on Sumerian Records, I believe. Bad Omen, that's a really good band because they remind me a lot of Bring Me the Horizon. But yeah, so I'd love to hear your guys' favorite albums and your favorite labels. So go ahead and post them in the comments below. Thank you so much for 10,000 views. That really means a lot to me. And here's to 10,000 more, I suppose. So I'll talk to you guys next time. This has been Jay Mercer Review Guy. I'm signing off saying farewell.